Braham thought, damn it, my body was right before my eyes. To think that this soul which has sought after magic's peak and earned the titles of legend and strongest, would end up wandering around like this because of the lack of a body. I won't forgive you, you dirty balls contractor. Because of Grid's body I had finally gotten the chance to recover my body, but to think that I'd get ambushed by Balls contractor again and forced to escape. One of the few beings who can face dragons, the first demon Baal, Balls contractors have always been bothersome. Because of the ambush, my soul's flame is dying down. I cannot let things end like this. Failure is to run around a predator with a soul that has just been sown. I need a solid vessel that can resist the predator's fangs. I must find Grid. I will have to use my remaining magic power to search the western continent. To think I'd have to extend my hands to you again, Grid. What a twist of fate. But if I want to cut this thorn-like relationship, Baal, I have no choice. After all, you have the strength of Pagma, the one who was able to resist the strength of a demon. Meanwhile, location Giant Guild's territory, Pedro. Chris said, damn it, to think I'd struggle because of someone like Zabal. Even though he was even against Piero, there's only a single level of difference between us. The only thing he's good at is politics. Chris thought during the reunion of the 7 guilds, he spread a rumor that I made an alliance with Grid. To think he would push me to improve his standing. I want to destroy him right now, but Pedro is still suffering from the aftermath of the Golem invasion, so it's still impossible. The Snake Guild has become the center of the 7 guild alliance. We could be forced aside. Things are not going well. If the guild's position is compromised, we will end up losing money and many opportunities. We must find a way. In this situation, the only thing that's keeping us afloat is my unique second-class tyrant. In the international competition, I'm going to destroy Zabal and the other guilds. I will show them how strong a player with 2 jobs is. Meanwhile, the other person who received a second class, I thought how unlucky of me to face this situation as a level 73 on the 31st island. It took me 4 months to get rid of these 13 level 85 grey wolves before. I used the order's weapons, a book and a dagger, and just fought like a madman. Those wolves were a nightmare to face as an order who has no real attacking skill. I was really the weakest until I got the first ever second job, Apostle of Justice's partner. How did I even forget this hellish time? Did the Lord beat this stage as well? He sure is great, so is the Lord's right arm. I have to beat it as well. Back to reality, Chulho questioned Morpheus instead of the other Overgeared guild members. What happened to Grid's 41st island mission? Is this even the right data? Did a bug occur while I was on a business trip? Chulho thought I did create the Satisfy world, but it is run by Morpheus, so how did this happen? Morpheus replied, it is not a bug, they are not a player, so the rules do not apply to them. Chulho thought, then this data is outrageous. Originally he's supposed to disappear right as he dies, but the Grid clone who got sent to Hell in Blackened State, became an independent existence in Hell even after the Blackening wore off. I was going to take a break, but I can't with this surprise now. Hell will be rowdy for a while now. The original probably does not even know what kind of journey his clone will go through in Hell. Back to Grid. System alerted, you have entered the 51st island. Styx said most of the 40 island were alright, but the monsters started becoming difficult at island 49. Grid replied, yes. Mob that are at least 55 levels started to show up, ranged between 360 to 370. Grid thought I can face 5 at the same time, but PvE time is slow. I was able to pass with relative ease thanks to Tyramet's armor, but it might be difficult to finish the archipelago before the national competition. Since I have faster PvE time now, I was hoped for the Fog Island, but I came straight to the Man Island. How unlucky. I have 18,851 challenger points saved up, so I can use 51 elixir on my weapon mastery skill book. 51 elixir is equivalent to 51 levels. Just like Piero, I can make my agility and my strength the same. System alerted, a mission is being formed. 51st island, kill 20 gold crowns. Reward for completing the mission 1900 challenger points. Grid said, a gold crown. It's my first time hearing about them, but it's a time mission, so looks like luck is on our side. Grid cast kill, and said, but how strong can just a normal mob be? I've never lost when it comes to attacking power. Suddenly, system alerted, you have inflicted 1 damage against the target. You have received 6,360 damage. Grid thought my kill, which is level 6, only did 1 damage. This is the same kill that was cutting the most 40 island mobs HP by 60%, you know. Are they resistant to physical attacks? That means they are probably resistant to abnormal statuses as well. I have to check. Grid then cast Pinnacle. System alerted, you have inflicted 1 damage to the target. Grid thought 1 damage from Pinnacle, which ignores defense stats. Looks like physical attack don't work at all on these guys. Most of the time these kinds of guys are weak to magicians. Do people probably duoed with a magician to get past these guys? Grid cast Magic Missile again, it only deal 1 damage to the target. Grid thought, what? They even resist magic attacks? These guys are probably level 380, so I am probably receiving some level difference penalties, but is not their resistance stats too much to deal with? Think calmly, there's no way this is unbeatable. When was it? I am pretty sure I've seen a similar type before. That's right, the mimics. It's similar to that monster who charmed those adventurers. Resistant to any form of damage, they take 1 damage from every attack. That bastard was at least low HP, so all I had to do was hit it a couple of times. Looks like all I can do is create some distance and hit them like crazy one by one. Grid cast Link and wonders Link's attack time is scaled with my attack speed, and with Iarugd I can hit 25 times at a time. Plus I gave myself a continuous attack buff as well. And when my body freezes up from the recoil, my god hands can attack. Paired with continuous stab, I learned from the reserved forces I can pour all my continuous attacks. Just as I thought, even if I hit this guy for over 5 years he would not go down. Damn, I am barely scraping the experience points I lost from my clones. I can't die here. Is the best I can do is call Randy and Noe and survive this mission? It's hard to do one for even 3 minutes, but 10 of them. Call it an extra mob. Even though it has max magic and defense resistance, you scamming bastards. Braham said, it sure is unsightly. Your pathetic state made me relieved. You are not the only one passing through time. You know, what do you like about your lousy skills that remind you of the same? Grid thought, why does he look like that? Has he not found his body yet? No. Why is he here in the first place? Braham said, but being his descendant you came all the way here. At least good for you. Are you enjoying the playground that Pagma made? Grid thought, Pagma's playground? What kind of nonsense is that? Was not this all the greatest legends of all time? Styx said this place existed for over 200 years, so it does not line up with Pagma's time. Wait, when found 97 years ago it changed a bit due to someone disturbing the place. When Styx was talking about how the Bihan archipelago was disturbed, it could not be. If Braham is saying this is the playground that Pagma made, the one who disturbed it was Pagma. Man, what went wrong? Every time I hear about that Pagma guy it makes me uncomfortable. Grid said, stop annoying me with your nagging. Can't you see I am busy? Braham said, you might be a low life, but does that thing over your neck does not think at all? They are called the Golden Crown, their real body is the crown. Grid then find out it worked. Grid thought, but I only have 12 minutes and 59 seconds remaining. Since they are level 380 they are really athletic, so there is no way I can kill all 10 of them in time. Braham said, stop whining. It's not like you are out of options. Take in my soul once more. Unlike last time we will be together for longer, but every question you have will be solved with no problem with me. System alerted the legendary Great Mage hidden. Braham has failed to recover his original body. He wants to stay in a safe space until he recovers his exhausted magic power and has chosen your body as that space. If you accept Braham's soul you will gain a powerful forces. Quest reward, quest acceptance reward, 50% increase in affinity with Braham, and the legendary second class legendary Great Magician will be acquired. Ever since the first ever second class, 100 people have received their second class, but most of them were average rank. A legendary second class was something that is out of this realm currently. What Braham offered was so dangerous that it threatened the whole world. A legendary blacksmith and a legendary magician. Styx wonders that's Braham Iswald, one of 9 direct descendants of Bariachi. How did the all-knowing being like him come back in that kind of form in this kind of place? Braham said, a gold crown is a parasite that constantly regenerates its host. There's probably no way you can think of to ignore one of them and manage the rest of the raging hosts. Grid cast restraint, but the mob broke the restraint by breaking their bones. Grid cast fly and told Noe and Randy, buy me some time. Braham said, unlike your dishonest mouth, it looks like your body is truthful. Did you like the offer? Grid said, shut up. Who said I will accept it anyways? You came to me since you did not have a body and are now asking for me to accept you anyways. When we merged and talked, and even with I gave you my body, I felt disgusted, you know. Braham said, if you are worried about your mind being taken over, don't worry about that. I am at a bigger risk of that happening. Since I am very weakened right now, we might have to talk to each other if you give me your body, but we won't have any problems as long as you don't beg for anything. Grid said, but we won't have any problems as long as you don't beg for anything. Braham said, at least 1 year. Grid said, don't test me out, you punk. Braham replied, actually 4 years. Grid thought it is nice, but considering how disgusting it will be, 4 years is too long. This is like being treated to an expensive meal but risking throwing it all up and getting sick. Even with risk I should try to pick something off here. Styx worried and yelled, Grid, don't be misled by him. You might not know, but he is a vampire. He is a devil so evil that can't even be compared to other legends. You have to keep your guard up. Braham wonders, I thought he got a bit more caution. But was that just because of the elf being with him? I guess I should do this before he starts contemplating it. Because what you can get with me is unmatched by anything that world can give you. Braham said, the magic you learned by accepting me will forever be yours even after our contract is over. Every single line of knowledge has been through many processes of evolution. The path you will be able to evolve into and walk towards will be making history. Grid thought, sounds like money, if I am able to get all the gold medals. Styx remind Grid to be careful. Grid replied, stop complaining. If it's something that can help me climb this mountain of a challenge, I don't care that a demon is helping me out. Wait for me, Kraugel. Grid said, what are you doing? Hurry up and come inside. System alerted you are now becoming one with Brahm's soul. You have received the second-class legendary Great Magician. You are the first player to receive 2 legendary classes. You have received the skill Assimilation. Will awaken Brahm's sleeping consciousness in your body and become one. At this time, your class will be converted to Great Magician and control of the flesh will be transferred to Brahm. It's truly a great achievement. The title Glimpse the Myths has been acquired. Glimpse the Myths. You have the ability to raise your class's rating to mythical. Grid thought one of the 3 god items from the Church of Rebecca that was graded mythical. It was achievable by the players. System alerted you have learned all of Brahm's magic. It failed because of your low intelligence. In order to provide Brahm's soul with steady magic power and restore it, you must raise your intelligence. 6 stat points will be forcibly invested into intelligence every time your level goes up. Grid thought this stupid bastard. You forgot about the penalties after you rank up. Grid said Brahm you have 9 minutes and 35 seconds left. You better do well you scammer. Assimilation. Brahm said your pride does not even last 5 seconds. These mobs are not even the worthwhile. I will obliterate you along with the island. Fireball. System alerted your intelligence is too low to cast the spell. Brahm told Grid you fail the simple cast of Fireball. How stupid are you? Grid said I am not stupid, even though it's a bit. Thanks to my items, my intelligence is at 1200. Brahm said there is a difference between having a brain and being able to use it. At best you are as smart as a slug. Brahm thought even if the casts are difficult you can't even fire of the 9th spell of one of my 10 spells I have Fireball enhanced that is disappointing. Brahm said currently a part of my soul is still sleeping in your body. If I want to cast a spell I have to borrow your brain and body but it looks like there is nothing I can borrow. Grid said you bastard, so you are going to tell me you can't do anything now? How can you do nothing after all? I've give you. What are you going to do? Tell me. Grid thought 1 + 1 = 0 sure is some crappy miracle. You garbage like ghost. Brahm said do you really think that little of me? Do you really think I will lose to those worthless mobs with this body? Grid said that's just a magic missile you can't penetrate through with the enemy's magic resistance. Brahm said while we are assimilation this body has the class Great Mage. The magic missile will be unlike yours. Grid shocked and wonders the control of being able to slay 4 of them at once and being able to shoot magic missile 4 times consecutively even though it has a 5 seconds cooldown. Was magic missile originally this strong? It's on a different level. Is it because of magic mastery or is this result of having the class Great Mage? What is it? Brahm said the mobs who are running at us instinctively hid. Magic detection enhanced. Looks like I'm all out of mana. It's my first time using such a little mana pool I've made a mistake. Grid thought magic missile enhanced is master level and uses 350 and mana detection enhanced is mastery level 2000. I guess both those skills use my 71,580 mana instantly. Grid said how can someone who is known as the Great Mage not be able to calculate your mana? Just take out a potion. Advanced mana potion and super mana potion. Brahm took super mana potion and said I have a fancy taste. Grid yelled drink the cheap one. System alerted you have cleared the 51st island. The time for assimilation has run out. Brahm's soul will be now asleep for 10 days. You have leveled up. Being a person with the 2nd class you have received level up bonuses. 6 out of the 12 stats will be automatically invested into intelligence. Grid said wait 12 stats? Wow I thought I would have a lot of trouble since most of my stats were going to go into intelligence. System alerted you have found a spell you can learn. Magic detection enhanced a magic detection spell developed by the legendary Great Magician who has completely overturned the activation formula. Emits a large amount of mana in all directions, locating all living things in a radius of 10 meters. The higher the magic level, the wider the detection range and the more information that can be seen. It will be learned after using it 3 more times in the Great Mage mode. Grid thought I can't believe I can learn the legendary Great Mage's magic for free. The stats, the skills, even the efficiency of assimilation, it's all better than I imagined. Brahm might be a bit snarky in the end but he seems to be nicer now since I am helping him out. Will he tell me the secrets of Pagma soon? But I should still be on my guard with him. After all my main job is great blacksmith and swordsman. If I get too greedy and these turn into an inferior class it can be my downfall. 30 days until competition. First let's clear the Bihan archipelago. Soon, the 2nd special broadcast satisfy National Paris. The announcer said will be all. Since there are 32 nations entering and many different jobs entering as well, the eye-catching thing is the system that will prevent an feudal ending in the popular PvP event. A man said yes, the PvP event the damage ratio will be lowered by 50%, meaning skills that deal massive damage to monsters are reduced by 50% against players. The announcer said if control and planning became more important than one-shotting looks like players like Grid will need to strategize. The man replied there were a lot of special cases caused in the last competition so the SA group responded accordingly. The announcer said it is a disadvantageous patch for Grid but so far he has said nothing to the media. Mr. Peak Sword, what do you think as a member of the national team and a teammate how Grid will adjust to this? Peak Sword said, this is the pedigree of all my family members. With this many ancestors on my side, there is no way I can lose. The announcer said, please just tell us how you guys will adjust. Meanwhile, someone said, Mr. Peak Sword at a broadcast? Rigas said yes. After logging out and seeing Mr. Peak Sword, I really felt like the competition is near now. Pan said, I guess that old guy is really passionate about our country Korea. There are 22 days until the competition, right? Ventnor said, sigh. Anyway, I am giving up this trial island. If I die any more times I will lose too much. Pan said, I am also giving up. How strong is Grid that he was able to pass this island? Lao thought, this trial island is harder the better you are. The Great Lord probably met something like an ogre. But this is surprising. Yura, Jishuka and Huaroi. I can understand how it can be easily for Huaroi, who has a job like order, but for the other two geniuses it must have been super difficult. So how? Maybe they were so great that the trail did not even exist. Then that means they can compare to someone like me who has removed their limiter. Faker said, how are everyone items they got looking? I got 5 agility elixir and 1 rare skill book. Ventnor said, I also have 13 health elixirs, but was not this too much up to luck? Rigas said, you are talking about the golden carriage that appears in the fog island, right? I barely got mine at the end. Faker said, Grid said he will conquer the Bihan archipelago in preparation for the competition. He probably does not know that there was a patch specifically made for him as well. Fog Island is too random, so it is very hard to handle. If you are not able to pass this island at the right time, it get very exponentially harder. That tricky Fog Island turned into a pot of luck during the competition though. For the guy who has the worst luck ever. Soon, system alerted you have entered the 56th island. Grid thought, damn, ever since entering the 55th island all the monsters have been level 400 that my attacks do not work on. Also there are 2 entrances this time. When am I going to finish She Crazy Hard Archipelago? System alerted 56th island, complete the maze. Reward upon completion 2150 challenger points. Able to enter Treasure Island. Grid wonders, the treasure on that island must be out of this world since all this island is home to many legends. If I can get a gods or like adamantium, I can make an amazing tool out of it. System alerted, please choose between the right or left cave. Grid said, it's up to my choice as well. I guess I can just ask Styx on what to do. But then Grid noticed Styx unable to say a single word. Grid said, this is nuts. I've never tried doing mazes since I've heard they are really difficult. Well, if it's a 50% choice, I might be able to get past no problem. Grid yell, are you kidding me? Why does it split into 6 more paths? If any more paths split up I might not make it in time back to the competition. Damn, I can't even receive any help from Styx either. Assimilation. Braham said, very wise choice. It is the best time to ask me for help. Grid said, yes, since you are so great, hurry up and do something now. Braham said, you sound like a little kid who is very desperate for a treat. Magic detection. It looks like it's very hard to go through here. Well, watch and learn, you newbie mage. Soon. Grid thought, I just turned to level 410 just from beating that one mob. I guess he really is impressive considering he was able to get past this with no damage. Braham said, a maze has a trait that tries to keep the intruder inside it, so the stronger the opponent in that path, the higher the chance of it being the exit. The time for our assimilation is almost done. Use the magic detection wisely and slowly make your way through here. I've shown you how to do it, so you should be able to reenact it. System alerted, you have received magic detection, emits a large amount of mana in all directions, locating all living things in a radius of 10 meters. The higher the magic level, the wider the detection range and the more information that can be seen. Cooldown time 10 minutes. Grid thought 10 minutes, and with Brahm boots, there is a 20% cooldown reduction, so it should be down to 8 minutes. It might take me a while to deal with the monsters now, but you sure have given me a good tool, Brahm. More reefs that came up, the closer it meant to getting back to the surface. Day 12 till the international competition. Every participant who was competing were finishing up with their announcements of participation. Location Turkey. Reporter said, Bubbat, it's your second time competing as Turkey's representative. With your hard CC and your amazing tanking, you are known to be the best initiator on Satisfy, or also known as the yak that promises victory. Reporter said, in the previous competitions you were pushed back by Yura and Grid. How do you plan on dealing with them this time, since you've had a year to prepare? Bubbat said, I am an initiator, but I've passed to level 300 and that resulted in me being able to become an attacking threat, plus the patch is also in my favor. The 50% drop on attack rates will benefit me a lot since I'm a tanker. These should help win against the other players. Location Paris, France. A reporter said, it is a buff for tanks, but our trump card Absolute Zero has received a huge nerf because of it. Do you think we can win? Bondre replied, I can. Mystics are also great when it comes to their utility and defense. Do you really think this patch only benefits tanks? Plus saying that a skill is my trump card. Have you even done your research right? The reporter said, is that so? But even if we did get second place following the USA, all the audience remember is the 4 seconds humiliation. Have you gotten over your trauma? And how do you think you will do this year? Because currently it looks like the USA is very favored to be first place again. Meanwhile, the reporter questions Zabal, is that so? Then as part of great USA team, how do you think other countries will rank? Everyone is ranking Korea really high because of what happened last time. Zabal said, I think the top countries will be countries that have many good players, so based on that I think France will at least be 5th. And I were to choose a dark horse for this competition, I would choose the only person I acknowledge, Krogel from Russia. I think they will be at least 10th. Korea was mostly driven by Peak Sword, but he is now significantly nerfed due to the patch, and the only decent player remaining is Yura, so I think they will be around 20th. Reporter question, but does not the attack rate nerf affect everyone? So is not this ranking too low for Korea, who is last year's PvP winner grid? Zabal said, that's a good question. I will explain myself further. The attack rate drop will feel like it's more than 50%. Everyone thinks attack rate is just attack minus the defense stats of the other person, but it also takes account of level and jobs as well. So a dull sword will only be effective if they are able to get a critical hit accurately. Do you think someone who only uses overpowered items and skills knows how to do that? Location, Beijing, China? Reporter questioned, who knows, but considering the nerfs or the skills, do you think grid should be on people's radars? How replied, thinking about it, the patch can be a good excuse. I was worried about him beating himself up for what would happen. Reporter said, how you were able to protect your 16th place even through Overgeared guild's growth, but you did not participate in last year's competition. Did you decide to participate since you guys got sick of grid messing with China? How replied, we did not want someone who is not supposed to cross the line continue to cross it. We need to respond to them and prove ourselves. We will also get revenge for what they've done to our citizens. Location, Tokyo. Yoshimura said, I will definitely get our revenge, and Yoshimura will make Japan the strongest country in Asia. Reporter replied, you said something about revenge, but did not you lose to the Silver Knights at the island? Is not this too much for someone who's not only past their prime but also called outdated? Yoshimura? Yoshimura said, but this time we have Japan's Hope Cats with us. Is not that right? Cats said, stop being ridiculous. Why are you making me answer? Is it because you are getting embarrassed? Reporter said, to be honest, Japanese people are expecting more from Cats, who has unlocked the 3rd ever epic class, Blood Warrior. Ranker 19th, the first ever Japanese user to be in the top 20 rankings. We want to hear some words of ambition from you. Cats said, words of ambition? Expecting something from me? I said I will be ranked 1 in a year. It has been a year and a half now. Are you trying to make fun of me? Do you want me to go to Korea's side? Reporter said, then we will ask Damien the next question. You have joined a different country's guild instead of the one in Japan, so there are a lot of people questioning your loyalty. Do you think you will be able to face grid properly with no bias in the competition? Damien said, replied, as I said before, I just considered all the possibilities and did what was best for me. Of course there is a difference between my private life and my work life, so grid is 100% an enemy during the international competition. And most importantly, our goal is to get 10th in this competition. The buff on defense and healing is a really good patch for us. I think I am the closest thing to invincible in the competition, excluding one person. Of course it's grid. I think I can't even compare to him, especially when it comes to PvP. Location, Saharan Empire, Pedro's castle. The reporter questioned, wait a minute? You said you will beat everyone, so why is grid and Krogel exempted? Chris, I can understand why it might be like that for the rank 1 player Krogel, but I can't understand why you put grid ahead of yourself, Chris. Chris said, I was very helpless last year. Boss raid Zabal, Mazer race Bondre, and in PvP Rigas. I lost to all of them. The reason why Canada, who was favored to win, did not even place top 3 is because of me. I once again apologize for last year's performance, and there is a high chance that grid skills are the real deal. His fruits of labor did not prosper because of luck. It was procured because of his skills, and I respect that. We cannot ignore his achievements without any proof. The reporter said, it already sounds like you are giving up. Are not you a bit more nervous than you should be? Chris said, no way. Do you think a blade that is not even struck will give out? There is no way I am nervous. The one who should be nervous is the prey and not the hunter. Back to Bubad. The reporter said, wait, player Bubad, so can you beat grid? Bubad replied, of course. His skills that have been halved will be no match for my stamina. Meanwhile, Bondre replied, do you think a predator will stay closed up because of a trauma? I will step on that nobody and make him shut up. Zabal said, I was watching the Sahara Civil War and it did looks like his skills did improve a little bit, but grid is just a normal player. How wonders, if you want to reach the sky you must climb the mountain first. You will never be able to beat me. This will be your execution field, grid. A reporter said, we thought Krogel would be an issue, but most people are focused on grid. Another reporter said, what's wrong with Krogel? Did something come up in the foreign press? Hurry up and check. Krogel, he did not show up. Location, Seoul, Korea. Peak Sword said, of course it's a given. Whoever grid faces, he will win the gold medal over them. The reporter replied, can you tell us the reason why Yura and grid is not here? Krogel also did not show up in the Russian interview, so we don't have much information available. Peak Sword said, now let us learn about the stripes on our flag. The separate groups represent fire, water, land, and sky. Back to grid. System alerted you have slain the priest knight, level 420. Grid said wow this is driving me nuts. This stupid deer does 25% of my HP with each antler. I have also spent 15 days here in game time. And if it was not for Indomitable I would have been sent back to the 50 island. Another split path? When does this maze end? Magic detection. Grid noticed there's no sign of life. Grid thought even though I have used this skill many times, it's my first time having this problem. Grid said what is this? Damn how can I choose if I can't even tell where the danger is? I also used Braham 3 days ago, so I have to wait 6 more days before I can use him as well. This is a waste of time, plus I am starting to develop a habit of relying on him. Just choose anything. I have to complete it before the competition. Don't stop and keep moving forward. Even if it's the worst case possible just go past it. System alerted you have completed the maze. As reward for the mission you have received 2,150 challenger points. You have entered Treasure Land 57th Island. You will exit the Treasure Island in 3 minutes. Grid said it's here. Treasure Island. I will put everything in Noe's mouth. System alerted Fog Island has appeared. Treasure Island has disappeared. Grid thought why are you doing this to me? You bastards. Grid yelled it did not show up when I was begging for it to come out when I had many challenge points stacked. It also did not show up when I was looking for the golden carriage while getting beaten up by monsters. But out of all times that it can show up why does it show up now? My treasure. Let's take it for now. I don't know when it will show up the next time. I have 31,000 challenge points so that should be enough right? It's selling 13 rare and hidden job change letters. But since there are no third job change letters I will pass on them. There are 46 normal to unique skill books but since there are no legendary skills I will also pass on them again. Instead of 1-day weapons this will probably be better even though it has very little stat value. Something that will raise the mastery of all my weapons. Amazing. Grid purchased Weapon Master Skill Book. Then Grid spotted Magic Mastery Skill Book. Grid thought a mastery skill that raises my magic power and shortens my casting time. I can't believe there is such a good book for me when I am learning magic right now. Grid wonders I'm getting a lot of crap from that bastard for only being able to use beginner's magic but is not 5,000 points too much? It's worth 20 elixirs what should I do? Just buy it refreshing. Grid said I have 20,000 points left now let's choose some elixirs to buy. I have enough strength and HP. I should buy the agility ones so all my stats are ratio 1-to-1 like Piero, right? Grid pondered wait, is this the right choice though? The amount of potions I can but with the remaining points are 80. Plus 800 agility is really good but I can't even begin to understand Braham's basic magic with my intelligence only going up by 6 every level up. If I want to raise this magic power I was miraculously able to obtain up to mythic I need a lot of intelligence. Even if he is a miscellaneous person there is no way a legendary design can be bad. System alerted you have used 40 intelligence and agility elixir each. Both your agility and intelligence will now be raised by 400 permanently. Beginner's Weapon Mastery Level 1. When a weapon is equipped attack power will increase by 2% and attack speed by 1%. Beginner's Magic Mastery Level 1 increases magic power by 3% and reduces casting time by 1%. 2 of the highest grade mastery skills and a sudden boost of stats by 800. The level 420 monsters that were a load of trouble now became farming mobs to my new mastery skills, a growing rate that even gave myself chills. That's who I knew my growing rate entered the next realm and that growing rate was fair to everyone. Location Vampire City. Lowell said everyone what are you all doing? Suddenly returning to Behan and going to the Vampire City. I told you guys to buy the East Continent Movement Portal Scroll why are you guys not going to the East Continent and coming here? Tobin said come down Lowell. Everyone bought it already. We were able to obtain it. Thanks to Grid's information and everyone thinks it's not right to go to the East Continent before Grid get to go. Lowell said even so, the Vampire City was only a good hunting place 2 months ago. Other than the descendants of the Berry Archer there are no good mobs to farm that give experience points. We all came to the archipelago to grow so why are you guys doing this now? Jishuka said it might not be good for us but it's good for you right? For your third job change you chose the job Flow Master. That can change the weather and climate but is one of the weakest fighting powers right? We have to get the experience points you lost out on for being our advisor. We are in this way to protect each other no to donate to other people. Everyone gather the mobs up well so make sure you get all of it. More together and stepping forward with everyone. And whenever you step forward for a challenge you are bound to trip over something. Soon, Grid reached 59th Island. System alerted you have reached level 307. You have reached Weapon Mastery Beginner level 6 and Magic Mastery Beginner level 4. Grid thought, thanks to my stats my growth rate is really fast but it's hard facing 3 to 4 level 420 monsters at the same time. And I am almost out of all the potions I've brought from Raiden. And what is up with this guy's HP and regeneration? It's not even named and more importantly, I can't damage him. What is he wearing? Grid activated Blacksmith's appraisal. Grid wonders what is this? This hidden information is so annoying. I have to start at it for 3 seconds during battle but my sight keeps getting blocked. Anyways, this means that my kill and wave kill being weakened was the result of that vest. Grid said hurry up and throw it to me, God hand. Afterward, system alerted you have entered 60th island. The save point has been registered. Grid said I almost died again. All the islands in the 50 are infested with monsters. Grid thought damn it, the 66th island, which is the last one, is finally right in front of me. If I am struggling this much on the islands in the 50 plus, can I even make it through the 60? Braham said looks like you who is far less than Pagma might be able to finish his playground. It's ridiculous, but give it a try. You might be able to realize how weak you are. Grid questioned why do you keep calling this a playground? Styx told me this was a place where legends stay and train. Braham said that's right. That also means this was a place hard for those who were chasing the legends to go through as well, and the ones I am talking about are the great demons. For them they needed to destroy the place where the legends stayed, and Pagma was the one who set up all these trails to stop those great demons. That is the real reason behind the existence of Behen Archipelago. Grid thought the Behen Archipelago was made to stop the great demons. Grid said wait, recreating the past, copying the Challenger and making paranormal climates. Can a blacksmith even make all those things? Braham replied of course it's impossible just with the power of a blacksmith. That's why Pagma borrowed power from the great demon Baal. The previous generation's Baal's contractor was Pagma. The first demon Baal, the pinnacle of the 33 great demons and the owner of hell, even feared by God and able to match dragons, an absolute demon king. Contracting with the human and planting seeds of chaos is just a little fun for him. Prideful brings mass destruction and enjoys mockery and deception. A demon that is true to his instincts. To protect from great demon he borrowed the powers of a great demon. How ironic. Grid said that bastard is crazy. Even though he's the owner of hell he betrayed his own kind, right? Braham said did not I say it? Baal enjoys mockery and deception. It does not matter to him who he does that to. Let it be humans or demons. He wanted to enjoy the entertainment of stopping the other great demons, and coincidentally his goals aligned with Pagma's goal. That's how the contact came to be. And more importantly, you humans are the experts in betraying their own kind. What else did you expect from demons? Grid replied you are right about that and wonders, but then why did he not return this beautiful place into the way it originally was? Was it because there was a possibility of a reattack? Or did he use all the strength he was given? Grid said so that's why Pagma was able to live for a long time even though you thought he was dead 300 years ago? It's because was contacted by Baal, right? And that's also why there are traces of him 100 years ago as well. Braham said demons only contract with human to take their life. A contact between a human and demon is purely out of business. Plus the time Pagma contracted Baal was 100 years ago, not 300. The life he used to survive those years are the life he earned by betraying his close friend, me. Grid thought that's how it is. Even I can feel how great his anger is. Braham said anyways if you want to know more about this, reach the final island and I will tell you. Also completing this place is important to you as well, you know. There is no way you are going to back out with an immortal body, right? Grid thought I guess that's how it should be. It's related to Pagma, so there is a good chance that there is a quest waiting for me as well. Styx said did you talk to that person and decide to challenge now? You must not trust him. He is part of a cruel race. Do not believe his words too. Grid replied but are not you the one who wished to clarify this place? Plus my trophy is also at the last island as well. Is not about time we both stop brooding around? Styx thought the sage's knowledge will not be overwhelmed by time. I as a great sage am being told by him to engrave what he is about to do with my 2 eyes. Soon. Grid told Styx take a rest and if you have a way to treat the heat as a sage do it. Styx said I have a way but I have no ingredients for it, and for magic I will have trouble casting due to my heart problems. Grid thought just don't die. I don't want to lose my roadside instructor, you know. Grid said anyways there are no monsters here and no missions either. Its layout is different. System alerted there is presence being picked up near you. Grid thought I can hear his footsteps this close but I can't detect his presence. Grid said who are you? If you are going to face me, show me your presence. It's not here. Then Grid being attacked from behind. Grid thought plus I lost 60% of my HP just from a dagger. The god hand who withstood every great attack that it faced is being thrown around from that attack. Grid summoned Noe and Randy. Noe remind behind you. Grid said behind again? Is it a skill that places you behind the target? Braham said is that so? I can't believe we met him here. There is a name that we call him but that is not his personal name. He is part of the 1,000-year-old clan that is known for being the pinnacle of assassination, the clan Eclipse. His name is only passed to the head of the clan that has been promoted to even greater bounds. Get ready to die, Grid. This island's boss is different from all your previous opponents. He is a legend, the legendary assassin, Lantier. Grid thought the head of the shadow group Eclipse, Lantier. Even with my insight and my slaughter's eye patch, I can't detect him. Also, was the reason why he did not get detected on my magic detection is because he's an undead? Braham said that's probably not the case. He probably erased his presence back when he was alive, so I also would have had difficulties finding him. The pinnacle of stealthiness and assassin. He even got a title that made his existence into a legend. If he wants he can probably erase his existence from this world, and with you measly level 2 magic detection you won't even be able to detect a hair from him. Grid thought more importantly that name Lantier. I've heard of it before. Who is it? Grid said this Lantier bastard. How did he become an undead? Braham said Ball's contractor gains the abilities of necromancers. Pagma probably found his body and made him into an Death Knight. Grid thought, so you are telling me Pagma was a swordsman, a legendary blacksmith, and a necromancer? That's so op. But more importantly, the problem right now is that on the 61st island the Death Knight is the legendary assassin. That means until the last island other legends can appear as well. Grid said, how can I beat these complete legends when I am not even done doing my job promotion quest to become a legend? Braham said undead legends are weaker than their counterparts when they were alive. On the other hand, you have me in your arsenal, so with my magic you will be able to beat them. Grid wonders, so I guess this means I can become like Pagma who had multiple classes. Fine, but what's important right now is being able to pass this. Grid noticed Noe's attack being resistant by the cape. Grid wonders, my insight, Slaughter's eyes patch, and Iarug's synergy. I am starting to be able to see the trajectory of a dagger. He will probably come from this side now. Grid said, do you think the same thing will work 3 times? Take that dagger and place it back in yourself. Revolve. But then he noticed it is fake. System alerted, you have received a critical hit. Immortality activated. Grid thought, damn, my immortal got activated just from 2 hits. How strong are his attack stats? Is his dagger made from adamantium? Its attack stats are way better than Grid's greatsword. Also, if his cape's defense stats are that amazing, the same must apply for the rest of his equipment as well. Braham said, you might Pagma's successor, but this is the reality, Grid. You can't even come close to an experimental toy that Pagma made. Now that you know how useless you are, you must know what you must do in order to improve. What you need is the power of magic and not the power of the blacksmith. Grid said, but I am Grid, his items look good, but if I have better items I can probably beat him, right? Blackening. A hand that loves to strengthen iron as much as he wants. That is who I am. Get as much information as I can. In the end he lost without being able to even put on a scratch, but it was a loss that was worthy of the great blacksmith. And plus it was a warning that he will get his revenge. Afterward. Location, Raiden. Someone said the Lord has returned. Grid said, has it been that long since my last time here? It sure is weird seeing a winter in the desert. Irene hugged and kissed on Grid. Grid said, babe, people are looking. Lowell said the love between the 2 lords will give the citizens peace and ease in their mind. It will also lead to an increase in population, so love more passionately. Grid said, are you a pervert? How can we do that while everyone is watching? Lowell replied, do you have no middle ground? You sure do not know anything about women. Lowell thought the rise of population is important when it comes to raising influence and power. He's still too ignorant of these kinds of things. As a country driven by the Lord he must start setting examples. Females are also science. Grid thought, even though I got completely beaten up by him, I can't believe there was such a big gap between us. If the same types of undead appear in the later islands I need to prepare counterattack items. Plus if I give Noe and Randy items as well my win rate will increase. 6 days until the competition. I need to leave for France at least in 4 days. So with that in mind, in Satisfy time I have 12 days left. In here I will make an item that will help me with my revenge. Soon. Grid went to Blacksmith workshop. Khan said, at this rate we might forget your face. You have not forgotten your role as the great blacksmith, right? Grid said, of course not. I just left since I believed in Khan. Let's see how much you guys have improved. What advanced level 8? You were stuck on level 7 for a while. How did you get past it? Khan replied, I learned a few things from the young guys. Grid thought, amazing. If I give them a bit more attention they might develop into a named NPC now. Grid said, with your skills and being the descendant of Albertino you will have no problem becoming a master. Khan said, there have only been 10 men that have become masters. You are giving me too much credit. Anyway, since I thought you will get started right away I prepared some firewood for you. Grid curious and asked, after being away for a long time my furnace turned clean all of a sudden. A blacksmith said, Khan took care of your furnace, my lord. Grid recalled back Braham's word, what you need is the power of magic and not the power of the blacksmith. Grid said, don't be so stupid. Everything I need is here along with my friends. Grid thought, you just prepared some ceremonial fire for me, Braham. The great magician was disappointed in the great blacksmith who did not care much about magic. But of course Grid did not care. I have to make a weapon that can overcome that skeleton. System alerted, Braham's likeness towards Grid has fallen by 2, currently 68. Early, Lowell told Grid, you have not heard the news, right? The patch for the competition will make things a lot harder for you, my lord. Plus the other rankers are getting millions of dollars as support and preparing for the competition as well. And lastly, I will also be your enemy this time. Grid wonders, I heard that I got a $3 million supporting offer from Sehi, but it looks like I am being really underestimated because of the patch. Do they even know how much the winnings are? There is no way I will take only 3 million. My entire savings right now is 147,000 gold. It's only $2 million in real money, but I will use it all for this competition. It looks like I will really be drained this time, thanks to that stupid skeleton. I got finished off in my blackening status by Lantier, and after that the dark gate opened, and it sucked me into hell. Braham said no, this can't be. If I fall into hell in my current state, I will just be an easy target for the great demons. In that moment Braham used all his strength and mana to close the dark gate. I never knew he hated falling to hell that much. Anyways, this is the day after now. System alerted there are 69 days 9 hours 3 minutes left till Braham recovers all his mana and wakes up. You will not be able to use this skill assimilation until Braham wakes up. Grid thought and satisfy hours 69 days will be the end of the competition. Looks like I lost one of my weapons for the competition, but it was time I got new equipment, so it does not matter. Cold Crown transcended Horse Knight, Troll Road and all the way to Lantier. After facing all these strong monsters I've realized that my defense stats are too weak. Dark magic resistance, recovery, attack speed, accuracy, intellectual power, defense and etc. The Holy Light set does have one of the best defense stats, but that was only true half a year ago. With the mobs and players being stronger now, the Holy Light set is only good if you have a healer or I am in my great mage form. So in order to face the likes of Kraugle and Lantier, I need something that will block attacks the same way my attacks were blocked in the Behen Archipelago. I need a great knight armor. Grid thought let's start with the scale armor, which was the Troll Lord's red armor. This armor was easy to move and deflected swords thanks to its many iron plate scales. Normally scale armor uses a thick steel plate that is weaker than a middle class armor, and it has the weakness of having holes in between the scales, but that bastard's armor had layers of scales, so it retained its strengths but it covered up for the weaknesses. But even if it's only layers of scales, the weight will still increase and my mobility will falter. The key point of this project is to make strong and sturdy scales that are light, 2 times stronger than steel, and 3 times lighter than it. Black iron. Smelting black iron might be difficult for Khan, but for me who has level 7 legendary skills it's possible. The key point here is time. I need 3 layers in order for my armor to be stronger than the ones at Troll Road. It has to be as thin as possible, and I also need hundreds of black iron scales. The time to make all those scales into one cohesive thing. Let's see who gives up first, me or the armor. 2 days later, system alerted you have succeeded in crafting the scale armor. Grid Wonders Enhanced. It's the same as Braham's magic missile enhanced. Just like Braham who enhanced his own magic, I did the same thing with my item. It's food. That's right, Khan left this here yesterday. System alerted you have to decide the item status and options. Please name your creation. Grid said, are there still some procedures left? Well, its characteristics are it's made from 3 steel layers. Khan sure is nice. He tries to help in any way he can. You look like pork belly. From now on you will be 3 layers. 3 days until the international competition. Grid said I have to eat quickly if I want to make the rest of the gear. Time is gold right now. So far I made a helmet, gauntlet, boots and chest plate. All I have to make now is Lantier's clock and I will be done preparing for the competition. Normally a cloak will be made by a garment cutter, but if it's a leather cloak, a blacksmith can make it. The only difference will be the design and option. But when it comes to defense, the one that the blacksmith makes will be superior. The defense stats to block off multiple swipe attacks from Noe. It's definitely a creation that Pagma made. But even if I want to imitate leather like that, I can't do it with my skill creation. All I can remember is that the inside and the outside were a different material. Is it made from 2 different leathers with the best defense stat there is? A black leather that has one of the best defense stat is either from a blue griffin or a Puri minotaur. The only possible red leather I can buy throughout the Behen Archipelago was from the Lizard Queen. The other problem is the cloak that will be formed by those leather is only possible through tanning, so they will be too stiff for use. It's just look like a leather box. Suddenly, Peak Sword make a call to Grid. Peak Sword told Grid came down and said, did you forget? We are meeting going out with all the Korean representatives today. Hurry up and get in. Yura is waiting for you. Grid questioned, you have a car? I thought you always went by foot. Peak Sword said, Godred, I chose something that is fitting for the 13 series. A moonlight blue sedan. Grid replied, moonlight blue? No matter how you look at it, it's black. Peak Sword said, what are you even saying? If you look closely when the sunlight is reflecting it, you will see a more sophisticated color. Grid thought the color changed from the light. Looking back at it, the 61st island was covered in flames. It might have only looked red because of the flames. It might not be red leather after all. Grid said, you take care of the meeting. I have to log in right now. Soon, system alerted 3 layers legendary, scale armor modified by the legendary Blacksmith. Grid, the 621 small iron plates made by hand and joined into 3 layers has ensured a high defense and range of movement. In addition, each iron plate has a small groove. If the enemy's weapon strikes it, there is a certain probability of the weapon being damaged. Ogre's blood was used to increase the durability of the leather straps, slightly increasing the strength of the wearer. Grid wonders, the more I look at it the better it gets. After my job change I am pretty sure I made over 10,000 items and now I finally got my 13th legendary. It might lack some options and durability compared to the Holy Light armor, that is made from the gods or adamantium, but the defense is way better compared to it. It's no time to be fooling around like this. I have to hurry up and search for it. I am pretty sure I had some leather left over after making Faker's leather armor. Grid pondered Chameleon's leather. How did I not think of this? This is the reason why Lantier's cloak was fine being in the fire and being slashed by Noe, and even if I use the Minotaur's leather with it, it will be fine since it's very elastic, resulting in a good synergy between the items. Now all I have to do is set everything up and use creation, put the two pieces of leather together and remember how Lantier's cloak was formed. Afterward, Grid thought this it is, a cloak that is amazing in defense that must be shared to all the members of the Overgeared clan. With this I have the perfect set of helmet, chest plate, boots and gauntlet. A dealer like me will be ruined by this patch? Don't make me laugh. I can deal damage and be a tank by overgearing. This is the best patch possible for me. Meanwhile, Peak Sword questioned Yura, did not you say this was an outing for us to eat? Yura said let's just have a meeting instead. The awaited time was spent alone by everyone and finally the day of departure for France. Grid said it takes 9 hours to reach Paris, France? Peak Sword replied it's in the far west of Europe. You know, it's not like it's our neighboring country. We are taking you comfortably by plane, so stop your whining. Grid said in terms of satisfy hours it's 27. I have to go back and hurry up and make Noe's and Randy's items. I could also use this time spending it with Irene all day as well. I don't understand why they are gathering us up when it can be done online. Peak Sword said I've arranged a kimchi making ceremony in Korean restaurant in Paris, so seeing our national food be shown to the world might cheer you up. Yura said don't worry, in my private jet there are satisfy capsules, so use the time to prepare until we get to France, but I am being really generous even though you did not come to our meetup, you know. Yura thought I dolled myself up as much as I can, so at least give me a glance. Grid wonders is this all Yura's? How rich is she? Plus she is so beautiful today that it almost seems unreal. Dumb bastard, this is why you lose against me. It's because you are tempted by unnecessary things like her. Yura thought why is he challenging me? Grid said then since I have a lot to do I will be using it first. Peak Sword said from now on the boss raid, hitting the target and the public war all turned to team missions, so keep that in mind. Grid replied we were limited to 3 events last time, so does this mean it's possible to get 6 gold medals now? Peak Sword said no, the only event we have a chance getting a gold medal in is the boss raid, that's why we had a meeting yesterday. Grid said I am not sure about the public war since I have not done it before, but for targeting hitting are not Yura and I enough? Peak Sword said I am too ashamed to say but the other players and I don't have the capabilities to protect you guys. Grid replied even though we have you, old man Peak Sword? Is it because of the damaged nerf patch? Peak Sword said my class is good for nuking damage, so I won't be able to help very much, plus after my attack there is a big delay and it lowers my attack speed as well, so it will also hold me back even more. Grid thought sounds like he's brainwashed himself. The delays after an attack affecting attack speed is not absolute. Just like how I am able to keep my attack speed even though I use a greatsword, thanks to my ideal dagger buff. I mean my priority right now is raising Iarug's rating, so I don't think much about my buffs right now. Anyways I hope Iarug, which is 83% of the way there, turns legendary during the competition. Grid said then I will make a sword before we land in Paris. It's not like artifacts are common and if you don't have those to choose from your choices are limited. Grid wonders if there is an ideal dagger that raises attack speed. An ideal long sword is definitely possible. Grid said our allies have to be strong, you know. Soon, they arrived Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. Grid said it sure is big, it's several times bigger than Incheon International Airport. Yura said that's because it's Europe's finest airport that receives 530,000 planes a year. I've called us a limo. I heard the other members are at our lodging already, so let's hurry up and join them. Grid thought she invites me to Paris, has a private jet, has a limo, she's also rich and pretty? What is she, a unicorn? Grid said sit away from me, you smell and you also scare me. Afterward, Peak Sword said this is the 5-star hotel that has been given to all 224 participants for 16 days by the SA group. I heard each night costs around $3,000 to $4,000 a night. They've sure put a lot of money into this event. We have our interview soon. Ruby packed all your stuff for you since you were so busy. Hurry up and go get changed. Grid wonders does she think I'm a child? Just reading this feels overwhelming. I've become good looking. I guess you are basically my mom Ruby. Soon, since the Korean representative Grid is here now, we will begin our interview. Grid wonders who it could be? Who's the one who put such a cumbersome spot on me? Yura thought you were the only person suited for that spot, young Woo. Since you are the strongest person and also you are the leader of the Overgeared clan. Grid announced I am sorry for being late. I am Korea's representative Young Woo, also known as Grid. A reporter questioned Grid, you have been nerfed a lot because of the patch but you seem to show no reaction. Can we see last year's placements just a result of your class and item? Since you have now lost your item and class power, and you lack the controls and skills, the PvP scene seems very fair for everyone. Grid said there seems to be a misunderstanding. I did not receive any damage from this patch. Reports said everyone knows that the Blacksmith has a weak defense stat and only relies on their defensive items. It just sounds like you are still relying on your overgearing. Grid said, did not every participant get funded and receive upgrades for their items? So there is no reason why someone like me who did not have any funding would be overconfident like this. Bubat said, since you can't rely on your overgearing anymore because everyone's caught up, you are using funding as an excuse now? Fine, you won't even be able to glance at the medals this year anyways. Zabal said, the guy who relied only on overgearing is now scared and already making up excuses? You guys sure have fallen since you guys left the rankings. The report said, well, I guess we can't stop your pride from talking. Will you participate in the blacksmithing competition? It is an unpopular even, but you can use that even to at least save your face. Grid thought, they sure are ripping me apart. I wonder how much worse it was when I was back on the archipelago. Grid said, I don't really care about what you guys think, but a legendary blacksmith like me participating in that event will be unfair. I will not participate in the creation event since that will be too easy for me. I am not sure if you guys can count my fingers, but this is minimum amount of medals. Korea is winning that event. The rest of teams should worry about how to scavenge up the rest of medals our teams will leave behind. Location: France's National Arena. Last night the beautiful night of Paris was bright with the opening ceremony. 21 events for the gold medal over 16 days, and out of 32 countries 7 players came, each of them named one of the strongest in Satisfy. There are 224 competitors in total, and the fist competition that is opening with the opening ceremony is the target processing match. The island where all the players from each country will compete is named Tira, a fast-moving target with a diameter of 5 centimeters each worth 1 point. The first team to reach 400 points will be the winner, plus you can target other player forcing them to log out as well. In this mix of chaos with constant attacking, defending and aiming, the competitors are slowly racking up points. But right now in this moment, the one team that is causing up a storm in the Tira Island is none other than the team that was overlooked by everyone last year, who won it all. South Korea. The day before the player who taunting at the interview session. Grid is taking this competition by storm. Zabal said, how dare you push us knights out of third place. He said he will take at least 5 medals, right? Can you predict which ones he will participate in? Lau replied, target processing match, siege, boss raid and the team fight. Those are the one he will probably participate in, and other than those he will probably win all the individual events as well. Zabal said, how do you have so much belief in a guy that just relies on his items? Lau said, my fear's eyes which see over the logic of this world is telling me that the gold medal is South Korea's. The best we can get for us Americans is the silver medal. Zabal replied, do you not know the difference of depth between us and South Korea? How can you even say that as an analysis? Have you gone mad from being with Grid too much? Forget about what your clan is in the competition. Don't bring down the morals of our allies with your delusion. Lau replied, I am being non-biased though. He has the ability to do whatever he wants. Lau wonders, I am different from you who is so caught up with your bias that you can't see what is true. 1 hour before the opening ceremony, Peak Sword said, as soon as the targets get in our sight we will fortify in these 11 places. We will have Yura hit the targets and hide her in these places while protecting her. Park Jong-hwa, level 235 archer, said, how about we fortify around the rivers and the mountaintops? It will be better for archers for to be in a higher spot to hit the target. Peak Sword replied, there will be more people there since that's the case, and since we lack depth it will be unfavorable for us. Kyung-hoon said, I guess that's true since the 4 of us don't meet the standards compared to the other participants. Grid said, wait, it's not like we are going camping, so why do we need to take the gold medal so slowly? Never mind all that and let's just run in from the beginning. Jong-hwa said, our average falls off a lot compared to other countries. Are you trying to get us all killed? Grid replied, what? All die? Who are you treating as equals? I am stronger than you guys can imagine. Old men. Peak Sword, what placement are you aiming for with this place? Peak Sword replied, 3rd place. Thinking about our lack of depth in this chaotic battle, that's what we thought would be possible. Grid replied, only 3rd place? Let's go all out from the beginning. All of you guys just focus on protecting Yura. Peak Sword said, but the island is too saturated with players, that's just basically giving away our locations. It's too reckless. Grid said, I can get rid of all the bugs around us, so let's just go out strong. The reward for the gold medal is adamantium, you know. The way you guys will do it, it will take us 1,000 years before we finish. Back to present, someone said, those bastards. We were looking around and waiting, but they dared to make the first move. It's South Korea, stop them first. Zabal told Lau, do you see this? That stupid pig is your lord, we can't be left out. Let's go. Lau replied, no, the other teams will keep them in check for us. Let's just go hunt for targets. The way the British team is moving, they are thinking the same thing as I am, so it looks like the other strong teams will do the same. Let's just leave hunting those foxes to those wolves. The ones who'll chase Grid are Turkey, France and 11 other countries. They will soon realize that the fox they are chasing after is a monster. If it is 77 versus 7, it's just the right amount for the wolf pack to be excited for the hunt. While Grid about to case linked kill wave. Bubat said since the PvP damage is half the great Bubat will block it. Our target damage skill transcend link is garbage now. As Grid activated his skill, Bubat thought it's not transcended link. Bubat said what is this even though the damage was half most of the rankers got destroyed. Did not they apply for the nerf because of last year? Bondre said calm down. The people who died are the level 200 dealers. He just did this for preemptive pressure. Bubat said Bondre? So you are saying that this is all there is to his new skill? Grid said if you understand that, hurry up and line up for seconds. I have to pay you back for raiding Raiden while I was away with the 7 great guilds. Remember, and since that is the case I will start with the ones I am familiar with 4 seconds. Bondre said I've waited 1 year for this moment. Come. Dazzling ice pillars. Bubat yelled Bondre, all of us are getting caught up in it as well. What are you doing? Bondre replied who cares I will stop when Grid turns to dust. Dodge on your own. Grid said it will be 4 seconds again Ice Princess. Kill. But then Bondre defended it with Ice Shield. Bondre thought after the damage nerfs the level 8 Ice Shield is close to invincible. Like how everything scales with practice shield magic is also the same, but mage classes who instinctively dodge attacks, the shield's level that is close to master level, is the sign of how Bondre overcame his instincts of dodging attacks and honed his shielding skills. Bondre said I've waited all this time to get my revenge on you. Grid thought he withstood kill? While Bondre wonders I can't believe he just completely obliterated my damaged shield. Just how strong are his attacks? This monster-like bastard, but do not falter Bondre. You are the pinnacle of 410,000 ice mages, and a representative of a country. Bondre said do you think I will falter to you in my own country? Ice Dragon Fury. Announcers said their surroundings are being frozen up. The ultimate magic now where to retreat to. France's representative has captured Grid. After blocking off his escape routes and focusing all his attack moves on him, it looks like Bondre won. Zabal said if the opponent is able to cast their S-rank spell there is no way for you to fight back. Looks like it's over for you Grid. Pan said how dare you even try to measure up to Grid? Are you dreaming inside of your capsule? Zabal said no you place Pan. Do you think we are friends now that you are in the top 10? Pan attacked Zabal and said you sure know everything don't you? Zabal thought there is a 20 level difference between us. Plus I've had my armor enchanted and I've drunk some elixirs. So why does his auto attacks do so much? Pan yelled Lal you bastard. Lal said your logic won't work here so change up your mindset Jebel. The Overgeared clan has changed a lot in a year and the one who lead the unimaginable change is Grid. System alerted the cold air is sticking to your body. Your speed has been decreased by 20%. You have resisted. Grid then cast wave. Bondre thought my ice pillars are attacking me. How does he have such an overpowered counterattack? A counterattack is supposed to repel an attack but he used his strong physical status to amplify his counterattack and repelled magic back and what's more impressive than the skill is the timing. He timed it perfectly for the skill to be at its strongest point when he did it. This is no doubt the skills of a master. The step and the way he swung his arms all his movement was gritty. The victory you had against me a year ago was just a disgusting false victory. I told myself I only lost because I was caught off guard. I could only accept myself losing if I was the cause of the loss. And after brainwashing myself for a year like that I did my hardest to prepare for you. But it looks like I finally see the truth now. The resolve I had for the past year was just unfathomable dream. You are way too strong. Bondre teammates said we will fight as well. Bondre replied no, give up on me. We can't stop Grid with just our sacrifice. Grid said what's this? You've finally given up cleanly. I thought this was going to get messy since there were a lot of people but it looks like I don't have to worry about that anymore. I will let you guys die together so rest up nicely. Bondre said stop being so cocky. I won't let your sword reach my comrades. This is an international competition. I am the only one who lost, not France. So don't get that twisted but I should thank you for letting me know how weak I am. Thanks for letting me prepare 1 year to at least be a hindrance to you. Thanks to that I feel very happy right now. Bondre said everyone escape from here and focus on the targets we can at least still get the bronze medal. I will buy you all some time to escape. Grid thought the only reason I was advantageous in this fight is because my holy light armor has magic resistance. The way he handled fighting a swordsman as a mage is completely outstanding and way better than how it was last year. Grid said you used your year very well. You can be proud of what you've done so far. Bondre wonders this beautiful sword. My loss is decided but this sword is almost telling me to cheer up and telling me to feel better about how I spent my year. Bondre said you sure have good service. It's a fitting victory fitting for the City of Arts. Get ready for next year. Announcer said Bondre logged out. The revenge of last year has failed. Grid said now let's hunt some wild boars. Announcer said because of 50% PvP damage nerfs the players are focused more on their defense now and since most players had their defense raised the effective damage that goes through is about 35%. But Grid has gained attack stats that are able to overcome these defense stats and even got himself a horrifying counterattack. Grid who has completely destroyed the world's predictions is stronger than ever. Bubat said can these guys not see it? He definitely has gotten weaker. They were so busy looking at Bondre that they did not realize his new special move only killed 5 people. Last year when he used Transcended Link he killed everybody. Compared to that his blade has gotten dull. So with that in mind, how will you compete with me who has been reborn into a new being? System alerted Undefeated King's battle gear set. They have been absorbed now, but before in the past the Lubana Kingdom was able to resist the invasion of the Saharan Empire for a while when they were in their prime. During those times there were millions of Saharan soldiers that were deployed to battle. The boasted knights of the Saharan Empire were all killed by one person, a legend who stood in front of the castle gate alone for many years, the undefeated Madra. The 9th king of the Lubana Empire solidified his name as a legend with this, and that legendary tank gear has fallen into the hands of the best tanker. Bubat said, plus it's paired with a unique grade Seer's hammer. It's an execution tool that I worked very hard for just so I can finish you off. Grid thought I should finish this off quickly since there are 60 people left in the Union team. Even if I lose my health due to backlash I have to use blackening. Bubat thought I am a traditional tanker, but the rare hidden class Crusher's greatest strengths are being able to destroy its surroundings with CC and charging, but those strengths probably won't work against you since you are immune to status effects. Bubat cast taunting shout provokes the enemy. Bubat laughed and said, this is my CC skill I received after hitting level 310. It's made especially to raid bosses. Did you think that your status immunity will work against us just like last year? Grid recalled back. Lowell told him to balance things out. There will be a CC that will ignore your status immunity. Please be careful. Grid wonders, damn it, actually happened? Is that a counter skill? Announcer said. Grid, who has gotten rid of Bondre, looks to be a bit panicked. Blacksmith's rage and quick movements have been shut down by the taunt. Bubat's skill are not the way it was last year, and plus he has the armor of the undefeated king. This means that Bubat's tanking abilities easily overcome his tanking abilities compared to last year. Bubat said, I will take a hit from you, so swing your sword to your heart's content. Grid cast Pinnacle. System alerted, you have received 17,050 damage. Bubat thought I was fine with him having his attack being faster than what I expected, but this hurts. I currently have the class with the highest defense stats, Crusher, and the armor of the undefeated king. So why does this hurt? Bubat cast a hammer attack and realized it only deal 1090 damage. Bubat curious and wonders, a unique grade weapon only did 1090 damage. Is this a bug? Grid said, I ignored the dodge route that was given by my eye patch and I rooked and took the hit, but it's lighter than I expected. Just as I thought that island is not. If you want to see my real defense, that you hammer is no good. Bubat. Grid cast magic missile. Bubat thought, real defense? What is he even saying when he is a dealer? Plus what is this damage? It does not make any sense. Grid thought it's still level 2, but thanks to someone I got a lot of elixir and raised my intelligence a lot. More importantly, he's not running away even though he took a hit from this spell which doubles my raised magic power. Grid said, unlike your toy hammer, your armor sure is good. Seeing how you were able to last 1 minute being hit like this, just like a tanker should be, it sure is fun pummeling you. Bubat thought, since I invested everything into my HP my speed is low, but my defense is so good that it makes up for it. But when it comes to this guy it's always not enough, it hurts so much. This guy was so strong from the beginning that the damage nerf patch did not even matter. Grid said, I can't believe you are still breathing. You are the best punching bag ever. You also get a pass, sort of abyss. Announcer said, the tanker who was thought to be the one benefiting the most from this patch is out. The defense armor that he ambitiously prepared has lost completely. Is this because they relied too much on a tanker for a 1 versus 1? The reactions from the crowd are mixed, even containing some booing. Grid thought, no, it was not wrong to rely on him. An armor with the passive of reducing the strong attacks by ratio. I thought it would end with Pinnacle and Pinnacle kill, but it did way less damage than I thought it would. It was hard to figure out since my Blacksmith's appraisal was being hindered, but I finally understood something, thanks to it. I can't believe he was equipped with a sealed armor. I want, thanks to that, but if the seal was undone on it I wonder how troublesome it would have been. Undefeated king, is he also one of the 9 legends? I thought I would have no problem getting rid of all of them, but Bubat and Bondre took longer than I expected. Also my holy light armor did not even proc its 5 joint attacks. I can't even remember the last time that it proceeded. Do I have to make an item that raises my luck now? It does not sound that bad. It will also help with raising the crafting percentage of high rated items as well. Anyways, I did a pretty good job distracting. I wonder how many points they raised? It was a dangerous plan, but I believe in the two of you. Yura peeks word. While a swordsman Luca tried to kill South Korea's teammates, Yura cast shooting attack. Luca set a range longer than an archer and strong attacks. After getting your hidden class and leaving the rankings, have you just turned into support fire? I mean, even if you lost your fame you are still pretty, so I guess I can use you as decoration. Luca laughed and said, amongst physical dealers you might have the strongest attack, but you also have lowest health and defense, plus you have bad mobility. If I am able to last a couple of attacks, the moment you get in my striking range you are dead. Yura swapped to sword style and said, we are not just earning time, so we can't rest just because we are tired. After all, we are aiming to win it all. Meanwhile, Peak Sword cast string and thought, damn, the patch's effect is too much after all. Since draw sword skills have a big delay, if I am not able to finish them off in one attack, it's advantageous to disappear. But it has lower attack compared to Iruged, which has the same rating, but it absorbed the attack speed of Ideal Dagger, so it's the best possible one-hand sword made by Grid. Plus the other present from Grid, a sword sheath. Thanks to Euphemina from Siren we received the item tier of the Beastmen King. It has the wing magic of Zednos. When I draw my sword a gust of wind comes out, and when I sheath my sword a whirlwind surrounds my sword, decreasing the delay as much as possible. Peak Sword excited said, it's an amazing sword of South Korea. If I am with you, no one can dare to overcome us. Meanwhile, someone said we were going to move secretly, so but why did we have to run into him? The sky above the sky. Announcer said 723 meter above sea level, the height point in Tira Island. Pon said, Lal, you cold bastard, isolating me and aiming for everybody else, you ruthless bastard. Lal said, just because we are the same guild are not you being too careless, Pon? Pon thought, I sure am unlucky having my route overlap with the Americans. If I try to counter, will I just fall to my death and get logged out? Pon said, since Spain is one of the 7 strongest countries in Satisfy, at least give me your neck for a farewell gift. Zabal. Lal said, why are you being dirty, Pon? Dragon Claws. Pon's rail spear hit on Zabal and said, it's disappointing how we could not 1 versus 1. Seeing your face like that is a good enough present. Announcer said, Pon logouts. The American team has wiped out the Spanish team, and with that the American claimed the best spot. This was the moment that the American thought that they will win the series. Meanwhile, Jishuka said, thanks to Grid drawing all the attention, it became really easy to score. First place is definitely possible now. Her teammates told her that's not the case. South Korea is first right now. How did the guys who were getting focused get so many targets? Jishuka thought his god hand, he used himself as bait while his god hand scored like crazy. Suddenly, Kraugle said, just as I thought, looks like I can't leave you guys alone. In Kraugle memory, his teammate told him, we can't just give you the new Alzheimer drug that Russia created for free. I mean, I guess we can give it to you if Russia comes in first place. Make sure you succeed no matter what for your mother player, Kraugle. Jishuka said, moving alone? How dare you look down on us? Thank God if I put in as much damage as I can and work with the rest of my team we can. Jishuka thought, it's not distrustful nor magnificent. It's just efficient, strong, and irregular. His movement is like the flowing of water. Damn, how can you shoot into water with an arrow? Announcer said, Jishuka logs out. The Brazilian team has been whipped and it looks like the American team has entered the highest point in the middle of the match. The Korean team is facing the aftermath of Grid's rampage. Even though they fought well against the combined team, their sheer numbers look to be too much. The second job advancement players all have been logged out, and the only players remaining are Yura and Peak Sword. And the finally attack that is coming from the combined team. It looks like Korea's loss. Grid appeared and said, and who decided that? What happened? Did all the other players just get bored and die? Peak Sword said, how can you say they got bored and died? It's because you came too late. Grid thought I was not thinking much of it, but it looks like the few minutes Bubat, Bondre and the others took is a bit crucial. Our head count is way too small, so my plan to rack in all the points has been messed up. Let's start from here. Although most of the combined team are second round transferees, there are still more than 40 people left, plus the rules block the usage of potions, so I have to save my mana as well. The thing I need right now to withstand all these people and attacks is stubbornness. Since it's a defensive competition, I gathered up all the bastard who gave me trouble. Boss mode. Grid said, I have something to do. All of you come to me and hit me as much as you want while I get rid of all of you. Announcer laughed, what is that? His shape and colors all look like a mess. Did he pick some items up and equip them? Even though he's a blacksmith? But what's more important is that he's a blacksmith, not an artist. Ah yes, that's right, it looks like he expressed food waste in an artistic fashion. Grid madly said, alright, enough with your talk and hurry up and come at me. I am already about to become crazy since my plan was ruined, so don't prolong it. At the same time, Kat said, I know we have to be on the lookout for other nations, but how long do we have to be like this, Damien? The coalition targeting Mr. Grid is still active. When it's over it moves. Yoshimura said, stop playing around and get rid of these Chinese guys. Why do I have to be the one doing this even though I am in charge of hitting the targets? Kat said, Yoshimura sure is complaining a lot even though he's only facing 6 people. Well, I was getting tired of waiting anyway. Hey you Kraugle fan club, if you are waiting for your owner, don't wait here. Go outside and wait for him there. If you are having a hard time waiting, I will help you out. Mr. Crave looks like he's starting to become hungry for some blood. Patiently waiting is one of the ways to show him our respect. How said, if you are just going to bark that noise, why don't you just leave and do not say his name with your lowly mouth? Damien thought it looks like all the strong players including us is starting to make their moves, but there is probably no point becoming the strongest here. Because in the end the people with the strongest equipment will be the ones standing. Is not that right, Grid? Announcer said, the alliance is all wiped. Grid has gotten rid of the 40 people in the alliance all by himself. Those new items with their insane defense stats that make the attack nerfs don't even matter. Even with the many attacks from the Alliance team, that armor did not even take a scratch. Being able to take 10 hits and get rid of all of them with just one hit, that amazing attack and power. To say that the world's prediction about him being wrong is just an understatement. He is making things look unrealistic. Grid said, let's change up our plans. Since we lack in numbers, I will join the target hitting position. Yura replied, pardon? But do you have any other way to hit the targets other than your god hand? Grid said, I do, but I did not think I will ever use it though. Spiral quick fire bow epic. Grid, there were some hiccups, but it's the perfect time to level these masteries up. Announcer said he is the successor of Pagma, who is known to be able to handle any weapon, but his confidence is no joke. Does this mean he has hands-on bow mastery? But how is that the case, since Blacksmith can't obtain any mastery skills? There's nothing he lacks in attack, defense, and even master skills. In this competition we can't even fathom or predict the type of skills that Grid will show us. Next second, system alerted the arrow has missed. Announcer said we can't predict him at all. Grid questioned Yura, what are you looking at? We are doomed. Even if the sniping difficulty level got harder because of your experience points, can't at least one arrow land out of all those shots, you stupid trash. Announcer, currently the scoreboard, USA became the first. Grid said, if I can't get any points with my bow, we only have Yura and God Hand to score. This is bad, my adamantium disappearing on the first day, we have no other choice. I will practice the bow as much as I can this time, and which bastard is this, don't mess with me. Tarma thought I instinctively threw some shuriken because I felt someone, but it had to be Grid's artifact? I almost got caught. I was trying to ambush Kraugle just in case he comes this way too. How annoying. I am doing a really big business right now and I will fail at this rate. It's a request from the group. Give the undefeated Divine Kraugle his first loss at the international competition. 100 million no matter what, as long as I get his head. Tripled if I get his head in a PvP setting. Just as I thought, getting that bread is more important than a damn gold medal. Grid questioned, is it you? The one who hit my hand? Tarma shocked and wonders he found me right away even though I was hiding. Before he only had one-dimensional skills and he was just overgeared. Did he raise his insight levels or something? Tarma said, I am not interested in someone who gives me no money. Grid said, my bow has been disappointing and the only thing that I have left is my hand, and you dare you bother them? It looks like I need to make this area secure so not even fruit can come in. Tarma said, leave while you can. Have you not heard of Faker? Don't take the title as the god of killing like it's yours. It belongs to him. Including Zabal. The number of rankers he has assassinated is around 100. He is the real god of killing, and that includes me as well as part of the blood carnival. Tarma. Grid replied, I don't care. I am really angry right now, so if you are going to wait for someone, do it somewhere else. Tarma said, I was going to do my work quietly, but it looks like I have to kill a bothersome bastard before I do that. Well, I guess it does not matter. As long as I can cause some issues, the sponsors will pay me for killing even a clown like you. Look closely. I will teach you that just because you hold a knife does not mean it's a weapon. Shadow Step. Tarma thought, a skill that disappears completely into the shadows and moves very quickly. The ultimate stealth skill with your observation level, you won't even know when you get hit and die. Grid said, how useless, I've already seen many deadly assassin. Magic detection. I am busy, so just get out of here. Linked kill. Tarma thought, normally you won't be able to detect me with magic detection. So how did I lose to do this? Nobody. System alerted Tarma has been logged out. Grid thought he did 3000 damage through all the defensive items I have on. I resisted his position and paralysis, but I can't believe he did all those things to me in one swoop. It would have been dangerous if my linked kill did not chain properly. If there are guys like him left over, I can't just practice casually. I need a new way to score points, and more importantly, the guy who has been hiding all along might come out of the waters and show his fangs now. 10 minutes before Kraugle's attack on the American team, Lowell said the coalition guys can't even take down one Korean with those numbers. They are still scoring, but the pace has dropped significantly. I said my universe is the top contender for victory. Zabal replied, even after a comeback, how about we stomp on them? Lowell said the second awakeners of Korea are probably out, and you are the only one injured on our side, so we have a chance, but to break through Grid's defense of over 3000 would be a huge effort. I see it as a waste of resources. Zabal thought the average defense of a third awakening tanker is 2500, and he's higher than that? I thought Pagma's armor, which even withstood Pon's attack, would not be inferior. What kind of monstrous equipment does a guy without a single defensive passive have? Lowell wonders, we can't just focus on Korea. Russia's power is extraordinary, especially the 4 third awakeners who keep scoring while confronting Italy are more than rumored. According to the information, Kraugle is moving separately without support. It's unclear why, but he's single-handedly taking out countries with strong snipers, truly a ruthless one. Then Yura will soon become a target, a big match with Grid on the first day. I am so excited. But it's surprising on one hand, Kraugle, who disliked exposure, is so proactive. Now that the strong contenders are filtered out, is he seriously aiming for victory? Wait a minute, Then Kraugel's top priority at this moment is us, the current rank 1. Kraugel appeared and said, you guys in first place? Lowell thought I got too caught up in the flow of information, mistaking that he would target Yura. We should have adjusted our scoring pace until Kraugel clashed with Korea. Zabal thought, damn, my life is still only at 60% with potions blocked, to take him now. Pawn that jerk holding us back until the end. Lowell said, please, defense first, retreat and recover more by my side. Lowell pushed Zabal and said, the target is indeed you. Show us if you can reach the sky, please. Zabal said, did you intentionally move to the side to use me as a shield? None of that matters. In any case, the one who deserves to break the sky is me, the second ranked only Zabal. It's the Yewee Bong, an ego weapon made with the technology of Talrama, the city of the Pagma dwarves. Witness the power of my ultimate weapon. Announcer said, Kraugel falls, even to Zabal. The rumors of a crazy farmer and a great blacksmith fighting seem to be true. Kraugel seems to be heavily hit. Is it a critical injury? His defense was not supposed to fall mere normal attacks, but having single-handedly annihilated over 10 countries that were championship contenders. Kraugel thought, stamina. My movements have slowed. The reason for my movement was extreme fatigue. Kraugel thought, wait for me, mother. Super sensing. The ultimate enhancement skill that only those who have earned the title of Sword Master can use. Attacks of transcendental speed and destructive power came from an imperceptible blind spot. The astonishing spectacle of the strongest nation being brutally shattered by a single person was not an anomaly. It's truth that one grounded cannot rival the sky. That's why it was celestial. Soon, Russia has overtaken the USA. Grid thought, from what the fleeing one said, Kraugel is moving alone. Did he single-handedly destroy the USA? He's a tough one really. Many countries have been eliminated, and there's a significant gap between the remaining nations. If we become the leading championship contender, Kraugel, the strongest sword will come for us. Even if I handle Kraugel, Yura and Peak Sword alone can't keep up with Russia's scoring rate. We can't maintain the first place like this. We need an unexpected strategy. Grid told them, focus on scoring first, and if Kraugel comes, just run away as fast as you can. Peak Sword questioned, where are you going? Grid replied, I will keep moving and score as much as possible with God's hand. It's the only way to be first. Yura said, since a frontal battle with Russia is impossible, he's thinking it's time to gamble. Young Wu has grown. The catalyst must be the strength of Celestial. A man questioned Kraugel, hey, is Zabal running away? Kraugel said, let him go. He must be desperate for medals. Running away in that state won't mean much. Alexander, Russia's representative 22nd rank, said, but people are making a fuss for a reason. Kraugel is really strong, but what can we do? While USA was focused on him, Korea took back the first place. Stop grumbling and go deal with the Koreans already. Work hard if you want to cure your mother illness. We even gave national flags to those Korean descendants clinging to Russia, but they are scheming, useless. Or shall we all quit the tournament and go see your mother? Kraugel said, I am sorry, I will leave right away. Meanwhile, announcer said, incredible and unexpected monstrous dark horse, Cats of Japan stronger than anticipated. Damien wonders, Cats is performing better than expected, but the opponent is equally tough. He's considered the best among China's 1.3 billion people. How? A master of combat. Especially his control of secondary weapons is higher than anyone in his team. Yoshimura said, the other guy are coming. 3/3 awakeners and at least 15 levels higher than us. Fight while retreating. Damien rejected and said, don't retreat and keep fighting. System alerted, sacred protection increased defense of self and party members by plus 20% for 3 minutes. Conviction of light, increased defense of self and party members by plus 10% for 3 minutes. Goddess blessing, increase all party members stats by plus 10% for 5 minutes. Nullify one hit and create a shield absorbing 8,000 damage. Cat said, is this the power of the Pope combined with my vampiric ability? Endless hunting is possible. How thought overpowered buffs and heals, plus attack magic. We are being pushed back as soon as he joined. Comparable to the USA and Russia. Is Japan this year's underdog? How cast disarm weapon. System alerted, weapon crave has been deactivated. Due to skill effect, ownership of the item is not lost. It will return to the inventory after 12 seconds. How said, this is the end for you? That side the Pope, right? He seems uninterested in targeting despite his power. Damien said, of course, Grid will win the gold medal, so we are content with silver. Did not you see the scoreboard? Even Russian with Kraugel could not stop Grid. How thought Russia's scoring stopped and Korea is leading solo? What's happening? Could it be Celestial lost to Grid? The only sky that made me feel admiration, beaten by someone like Grid? I need to confirm with my own eyes. Damien said, sorry, but I can't let you go. I don't want to be misunderstood for being lenient. How said, move aside and activated half-dragon transformation. How said, I decide whether I go or not. Get lost. Damien said, no matter how much healing there is, it's too hot. How wonders master's swordsmanship? I thought he was only skilled in magic. A type far beyond the level of a priest or paladin. Something I've never seen before. How limited. Damien's hand and said, Celestial is above me. How can someone I can't surpass judge him? Damien cast Goddess's Wrath. How set, I said, to get out of the way. Don't meddle between Celestial and me. Damien thought he instantly wiped out 30% of my vitality, penetrating my defense. Moreover, he recovered his vitality in no time, with an incredible physical speed I can't keep up with. Damien said I saved this techniques as a gift to show Grid. Never thought I'd have to reveal it to someone else first. Don't interfere between Grid and me, blessing of light.